The room is filled with energy and enthusiasm. We are all looking forward to have an interesting conversation about innovation and technology for gender equality. Isn't it, guys? Are you ready for it? All right, I said the room is filled with energy and enthusiasm, so can I have some energy from you guys? Are you excited to discuss regarding this topic here? All right, that's amazing. I see some energy now. So now let's do one thing. Look to your right and left. As I said, I want someone to be on the right and left. Say hello to the people sitting on the right and left. Introduce yourselves. Get to know each other. Yes, some of you all know each other. You're sitting with the people whom you know. Maybe even the back seats, if you don't know people at the back. Yes, you can say hi to anyone in the room. Yes. That's amazing. Every woman has a Durga within. Here is Pranamya Kalakur, an Indian classical Bharatanatyam dancer and choreographer. This performance is a tribute to all the great women here. Let's put our hands together and welcome her on stage.
युगों युगों से एक पहेली है जो कभी नंगे पांव से आंगन में खेली है जो कभी इंद्रधनुष बन के खनकती है कलाई में वही शक्ति है नारी जो कविता कली कहानी बन जाती जिसकी एक करवट वक्त को बदल जाती जो प्यार से रुतबा दे शाहों से ऊंचा जो जिद पे आ जाए तो समय को बदल देती वही शक्ति है नारी।
धीरे ना धीरे ना तुम तनना धीरे ना धीरे ना तुम तनना धीरे ना धीरे ना तुम तन धीम तनो 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 धीरे तोम तनना धीरे ना धीरे ना 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 उदन धीम तदन धीम तन धीरे ना उदन धीम तदन धीम तन धीरे ना धीम तनो 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 धीरे ना धीम तनो 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 धीरे ना तोम तनना धीरे ना धीरे ना तोम तनना धीरे ना धीरे ना तोम तनना धीरे ना धीरे ना तोम तनना धीरे ना
Wow, what a beautiful way to start the event with this beautiful lady on stage. Can we give a huge round of applause to her once again? Thank you. Before we begin and start with the panel discussions, I would like to offer positive salutations to all the eminent guests present with us today. A big thank you to all of you for traveling far off distances just to be with us today to discuss a very important topic. There is a gender digital divide when it comes to digital adoption. Women have lower levels of access to and use of digital technology than men. Together, let's innovate to bridge the digital gap. It is a great honor to have so many eminent speakers and panelists joining us today. On behalf of 315 Work Avenue, I would like to extend a hearty welcome to each and every one of you to WOMENIA 2023. I hope that you will find today's discussion informative and inspiring, and that you will come away with a better understanding of the challenges and opportunities that women face today. Light and brightness have been equated with positivity. To start this event on an auspicious note, may I now invite Ms. Shonali, Ms. Vasudha, Ms. Anusha, Ms. Amudha, Ms. Prachi, and Ms. Vidya on stage. Huge round of applause as they light the lamp. It's now time to introduce our panelists. So when I call out your names, I want you to stand or wave so that we know that it is you, all right? Okay. So first we have Pallavi Somaya, Radio City 91.1 FM, on-air talent. Can you wave for us, Pallavi? Yes, she's right here in the front row. Thank you. We have Vaijayanti Adiga, Pakashala Marketing Head and Associate, Vice President Operations. Yes, she's here. We have Sneha Kappanna, Director, Brahmari Dance Repertoire. Sujata Akshaya, yes, actor and anchor in Kannada industry. Akshay Javalgakar, Merck Group and Strategic Human Resource Business Partner. We have Jimmy Xavier, Radio Mirchi 95 FM radio jockey. We have Nidhi Gupta, founder and creator of Shades of Spring. I think she's not here yet. Dr. Sushma S.V. Okay, she's yet to come. Sagar Biligonda. Yes, he's an actor. Archana Tiwari, our moderator. Where is she? Yes, she's right there. Archana is there. She's lawyer and partner at J. Sagar Associates. So these are our panelists and our moderator. So now we'll have our first panel discussion. So for that, I request Pallavi Somaya, Vaijayanti Adiga, Sneha Kappanna, Sujata Akshaya, and Akshay Javalgakar to kindly join us on stage. Also our moderator, Archana Tiwari.
Hello. Will show will go off if it puts.
Okay.
Perfect.
Check. Check பண்ணலாமா? Check. Bas, give me one bottle here. Thank you.
Check.
Hi everyone. This is very exciting to be here because we have so many people, wonderful experiences to share, and I've spoken to them a few minutes before, and if that's anything to go by, we're looking at a wonderful discussion. So, welcome to this first panel discussion. We have a brilliant topic, and it's such a wide topic. You know how technology and innovation can help global women equality for women, and for women's equality, I think one of the people in their call-out video said, like, why just technology? Take everything and throw it at it. Make sure that we get there faster. So, we're here to look at all these industries and how technology has helped, can help, hasn't helped equality in your industry and what we can do to make it better, right? So, we've got a few questions we had in mind, but I'm looking at more of a freewheeling discussion. So stop me if you think you should say something that I'm not letting you, right? So Sneha, we'll start with you. Wonderful work you've done over several years, bringing to life lots of traditional arts that weren't given to women for a long time. So how easy was it to break into those bastions and demand to be given this knowledge that simply wasn't available to women before? And how easy was it to then pass it on to other women?
Good evening, everybody. It's wonderful to be sitting here among people from different walks of life. Coming back to the question, my work has been with folk forms and folk artists of Karnataka. So let me just give you a very quick one-liner so you know where we stand. In the entire country, our state hosts the largest number of folk arts. We have around 190 forms, the largest in the country. But, now there's the big but. We have only dedicated dancers for women accountable. I have 5 names I can give you. That is done exclusively by women. So you know. And this is documented. It's my research work that I'm quoting from. So when I say folk dances, which is my area of expertise, out of 40 that has been documented, 5 are for women. And unlike some of the folk forms that we see across India where women and women dance together, we don't even have that. So we have just 5 dances in the entire state that is done by women. So why was this happening when we look at the reasons for what was...
Question from my mind.
Why was this remark, many scholars and folklorists come back to the question of patriarchal system, matriarchal system, saying that we come from a very strong patriarchal foundation, so this was the great divide that happened, which is not true. Because the more you study folk arts, you realize that when you look at tribal society, it has been matriarchal for a long time. So it was the mother who was holding the reins of the family. But over time, when caste, religion, politics came into play, it turned to matriarchal. And that subjective over many years has become a very strong hand that didn't give women that kind of privilege to step out, to be learning all this. So in most of the folk dances that we see today, the word we use in Kannada is gandu kale. Dollu kunita, gandu kale, kamsale, gandu kale. That is, it has to be done so powerfully, so energetically by men. So you're assuming that the woman will not be in that privileged place of putting that energy, giving that life to bring forth so much to the stage. So this has been a great divide that has really stuck me because I come from a place of privilege. So for me, studying this, learning this has all been from a place of privilege. So for me, I was like, how can you be treating this in any other way possible? But this is the truth that we need to now understand and become aware and try to work towards bringing a better awareness to people around us to understand why and how do we take it forward from here.
So how do we use technology to leverage that? So because these traditional arts are taught in a traditional way, one would imagine. So how do we broad base that knowledge?
Yeah, because I'm talking today as a folk expert, it's a very great divide. So for us to talk about technology, it should first be accessible to these people. So they don't even have access to it. So how do we give them the access? The access comes with education and financial independence. We sitting in an urban background, with an educated background, to comment about it is something else. But when you work with the rural women of our state, you see still it's a very far ahead goal for us to work towards, to reach. I'm just talking about basic education and financial independence, which will be a crucial game changer, right?
Absolutely. Financial independence will be that
so once we can
penny drop moment.
Walk towards that, maybe we can talk about technology. And once we have the technology, then we can look at how we can use it to build this art form or take it forward in this.
Is there any one technology that you have found useful for you as you move with folk artists and work with them? Just, something that would make a difference or something you wish was more easily available?
For me, documentation 20 years back when I started work was a mundane thing, like, I'm sorry, not mundane, it was extremely laborious to make it happen. Documentation, right? So to get the videographer, photographer, to get all the right people to document. To work as a revivalist, you need to capture all the things. So all these technology has become really accessible for me to work more easily in this field. But how to use this to promote their form, like how folk artists and performers per se can use this. Because as classical dancer, if I am to speak, we all switched very easily to online media. The moment COVID struck, 1 month we were out of job. By the second month, none of us knew Zoom, but we learnt it. Soon we had learnt Google Meet, whatever. We were all taking classes. We survived COVID by taking online classes. But what happens to the rural folk? That divide is what I'm talking about.
And that's almost an infrastructure gap that exists that needs to be fulfilled. Right. Thank you, Sneha.
Thank you.
Pallavi, I think your voice, your name, and your personality need no introduction.
Thank you so much.
We were talking some time back, and you spoke about how the way your job is done has changed, and how it's not just on-air talent sitting in a recording room and doing something. It's so much more. It's your entire lifestyle almost that you have had to change for your job. So how has technology influenced what you do today, and how has it made it different from,
See, the good thing, or rather when I started when I started being an RJ about, I don't know, I don't want to say the number of years because it's going to make me sound really old. But yeah, when we started, radio, it was just about being on air. Nobody knew who we were. If I would walk right in front of them, nobody would know that that was RJ Pallavi. Only when I would speak, suddenly they're like, I've heard this voice somewhere, okay? But now that's not the scene anymore. Like I was just telling you, now we're not only the on-air talent, we're also online talent. So not only do I have to do the research, in terms of the content that I'm going to be speaking every day in the morning on air, but I will also have to figure out how and what is it that I can put online on all of my social media profiles. Before, it was people would listen to us on air and then follow us on social media. It's the other way around now. So people follow us on social media and suddenly then they would start listening to us kind of on air. It has now become, radio was always a personal medium, okay, where people, even though they would do some other work and they would listen to us in the background now, or, like you're driving and you're listening to us, in your car. Now it has become even more personal because they get to see what is it that we're doing in our personal lives too. So we can't keep faking, what we're not doing. Like I have a 5-year-old son at home, so what is it that I do once I go back home with him? Where we go to our travels, everything is on social media. So a listener knows exactly what's happening in my life now versus how it would happen some years ago. That my life at that point in time had no clue. People didn't even know that I was married when I was on air at that point in time. We also had a nice on-air love story that happened between me and another RJ at that point in time. So all of these things were possible and people would believe us, but not anymore. We can't fake anything anymore. We can't actually have April Fool's pranks anymore on air, which is very disheartening, but yeah, that's how it is. Technology has changed it.
But has it, both in the workplace and outside the workplace? You see that working women have certain stereotypical notions, and they have this typical guilt about being a working woman, the mommy penalty, as you call it. Has technology helped that? Has it made it easier for women to go out there?
See, I know for some of them it has. For some of us it hasn't, because just like how Sneha was saying, when we were in lockdown, suddenly for the first month or so, none of us knew what we're going to do, whether we're going to have jobs, because at that time I was not on air. When COVID kind of hit in 2020, I was not on air. I was an MC, I still am an MC. So for me, it was all about stage shows, it was all about corporate shows, which was my bread and butter. And suddenly we don't know what is it that we're going to do. So we have a huge MC group and all of us are discussing, with some 200, 250 of us, and all of us are discussing what next. because that is literally what it was. And a couple of weeks later, you know, when everything was kind of okay, and then we realized that there are other online platforms, I think we started working immediately. As a mum, I didn't find it that tedious. And then a year later, when I joined radio, when I had to be out of the house for about 10 hours a day, it was also good that my son was in school at that point in time. So that way it was kind of easy for me. And also the support system is very, very strong in my house. So for me, it was, yes, it was pretty easy. It was a easy transition that was happening. Yeah. And for a lot of women who are working from home, I think, yeah, for them also it is. But technology kind of has helped. I don't think, yeah, working women have that kind of guilt anymore until and unless somebody kind of puts it on us. Very recently, we all heard a very famous actress kind of give this line out saying that all women want is a rich husband, and most women want a rich husband, and all we want to be is lazy. And I'm like, so what if my husband is rich? I'm still working. How am I lazy? It just doesn't kind of add up. But yeah,
that's a great thing about technology. You can't say this stuff anymore and not have consequences.
That's also the wrong thing about technology. That you don't know at what point in time you would have said things like this. Yeah. It can also be just a part of conversation between friends that can be taken out of context, yeah, and can go kind of viral. But then it does not happen to everyone. So that way, I can't blame technology either. But yes, people have to be a little bit more mindful when it comes to public platform, public spaces. What is it that they're speaking? You don't know who your words might land up hurting or how your words might land up hurting you. Yeah. So it's kind of always better to be safe.
So how can women use technology to ask or demand more things at the workplace, demand more equality at the workplace?
See, we were just talking about it. Things are, they are changing. They're gradually changing. Now we're seeing a lot of women in the top management, example. She's sitting right next to me. Because I go to a lot of these software companies, do a lot of corporate shows, I also tend to meet a lot of women who are in the top management, which was not the case even a decade ago, okay? And it's very nice to kind of invite them on stage and speak to them. It is changing, but really, really gradually. Very recently, I did a corporate show. It was a Women's Day celebration, and there were 5 top management, personnel on stage, 4 men and 1 woman. And she was basically trying and telling all the women who were there in the hall, asking them to come and stand where she is. And that's only possible because she has given 15 to 20 years of her life to the same company with the same amount of passion, with the same amount of hard work. It is very much possible. Like they say, tali ek haath se nahi bachti hai. So for women, it's not just asking for equal opportunities, it's also for us to put in the same amount of passion and hard work. So I think if both of them go hand in hand, it will. So the next time we're having the panel discussion, we're going to have more women in the top management.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. Across industries, I think that's something that every industry needs. I can speak for legal, and I'm sure everyone here can speak for their industry. So thanks for that, Pallavi. That's really, really interesting. Thinking about a world where 50+% of management is a woman in any company, that's wonderful.
That's kind of happening in our station right now. So that way I can't complain because we do have 50% of our team that is women. My boss is a woman. So that way it's also much more fun to have a woman boss. Ask him, even his boss is a woman. So he has to say kind of yes to it.
Actually, if I could go to Jimmy for that was an interesting segue. One of the things we spoke about, Jimmy, was how is it for equality for women in the entertainment industry, whether it's people in the front, facing the audience, being the entertainment providers, or the technicians and the people behind the screen, how is entertainment, is media a more equal industry, and what's gone right there?
So has things gone right? I can't,
We can hear you.
You can hear me, right? I think if you look at the entertainment industry, there are multiple things to look at, right? So if you look at, let's say, if you look at production of a film or
Right.
on the sets, you'll find mostly men in those spaces, right? If you look at creative roles, probably, you'll find maybe more women, right? And I think it comes down to the, like she said, about can women put the energy in to do the Dolukunita? Probably not, is the thought, and that is why it's become so male-centric.
Yeah.
And if you look at production on a film set, a lot of it is moving heavy things around, moving lights, right? And you misconceive to say that the woman probably cannot do that, right? So I think if you look at media and you look at entertainment, there are certain places where the women are doing really well, and there are some places where it is still very male dominated. And I think it will take time before that changes. Now, I am hearing about all women crews working on films, which is great, because there are women in positions of power who can now push this agenda. And the more people you have in positions of power pushing this agenda, like she said, that lady on stage was saying, I need more women to be on stage, be in my position.
Yeah.
The more women moving up, cracking that glass ceiling, the more they will be able to push that agenda of getting more women up.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only way this will move forward.
Yeah. It's a very interesting time to have this conversation, because when The Elephant Whisperers won the Oscar, the tweet from Guneet Monga was, 2 women did this.
Yes.
So clearly women are breaking into, what is traditionally a man's world, directing, producing,
Yeah.
technical work in entertainment.
If you look at, I mean, it's interesting that if you look at every year a film companion or someone will do a round table,
Yeah.
right? And if they don't have a gender-specific round table, the round table will mostly be dominated by men.
Yeah.
And there was one panel that had South Indians,
Yeah.
and there was one woman, and she wasn't a director, she was a producer.
Okay.
Everybody else was either a director or an actor,
Okay.
right? So that divide is it's still there, it's
Yeah.
still very, very large, and it's going to take decades, maybe centuries for that to break, but at least we're having those conversations.
This subliminal perception of what's right for women and what's not right for women, this level of sort of microaggressions that you see at the workplace, this very, traditional mindset of what women should do, what women shouldn't do. How do you perceive it as someone who's out there in the public eye? How do you perceive microaggressions in your industry in general?
I'm guilty of it myself. Because a microaggression is, for example, a WhatsApp joke is microaggression,
Yeah.
right? Where I make a joke about a wife, or I make a joke about a girlfriend. That's microaggression,
Yeah.
right? And then, because you're allowed to do that, you make that joke in a public forum.
Yeah.
And that's now, it's moved away from what was on your phone and personal, and moved into a public forum.
Yeah.
And then people will laugh about it, and the women also will laugh about it, right? And probably not aware that, hey, this is microaggression,
Yeah.
and it needs to be called out. So the jokes continue, and then at some point become aggression and become abuse at home,
Yeah.
right? Your galis are all maa behan ki galis,
That's true.
right? We did a campaign on air saying, let's try and come up with galis that have no gender bias, and we called it the gali gang, right?
Yeah.
And we asked people to contribute, and let's do this. It was our Women's Week campaign.
Yeah.
So these are all things that we do without thinking,
Yeah.
and it needs to be called out for us to become aware of it. And only when the calling out happens will I, like for example, Posh is the reason Posh is so strict. Like my wife was telling me the other day that they had a discussion, and from rape to hugging someone is all under the same umbrella, right? And she was like, my office is a safe space. People are coming there, it's a safe space. They're allowed to hug each other. I said, see, yes, but you're talking from a place of privilege.
Yeah.
And therefore it's okay. And she said, no, you don't know. I have been sexually harassed. And you have been. You have been sexually harassed at different workplaces. But currently the conversation and the structures are so huge as a mountain that there is no space for nuance. You have to go at it with a bulldozer. And then once those structures break and then there's awareness, then you can allow for nuance to come in.
That's absolutely true. That's a brilliant analogy. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Vaijayanti, I think we could talk about the work that you do, because it goes between two industries, right? You're in hospitality and then you're also in media and you're a performing artist. So in the hospitality industry, which is perceived and is probably true, that it's a very male-dominated bastion, how can technology help women break into that space more? There are women chefs, they're probably far fewer than men chefs, and they've had to probably deal with quite a few more biases than men who've had it a little bit easier, probably a lot easier. So how does it work in the hospitality industry?
Yeah, good evening everyone. First of all, thank you for having me here. I'm truly honored. Being the youngest one here, you know, it means a lot.
Just because I have grey hair, come on, what the hell? It's not true. Have our ages been revealed anywhere in Vasudha? No, right, no.
Anyway, so coming to the question, I think technology has played a very big role in food and beverage industry. I mean, for like what was like a decade ago, you know, like we were just talking, to what it is now, it's worlds apart. Like I think food aggregators, coming firstly to them like Swiggy, Zomato, we can't imagine functioning without them. Like our dependency on them today is so high. We've thought of, you know, other ways to, you know, cut and chase and, you know, let's do our own thing, but they've been really smart in acquiring market today, and I think it's good in a way, you know, it's boon and bane at the same time, you know. A lot of what we earn is given to them today, but again, can we think of functioning without them? No, I think it's pretty hard. And I think in times of COVID especially, if we were able to survive, you know, like bigger the scale of the, you know, business, bigger the risk, right? So I think without them, we really couldn't have survived. So I think with technology, it has been a big support to our industry. And also talking about gender equality and, you know, how it has helped women in this industry, I think a lot of, you know, women chefs and, you know, home bakers today, they have a very big platform, you know, that is social media. It's even Instagram. It need not be a website of their own even. So the visibility is doing the job, you know, like they don't even have to have a proper business setup, not a physical store, but they're still able to make money today. And, you know, I think the means to earn, you know, the fame and everything, you know, like even me, if I'm here today, people know of me because of social media, like, you know, so it's Facebook, it's Instagram, it's LinkedIn. So I think for women, it has always been working well for us, in my experience at least. Again, maybe I'm talking from a place of privilege, but in my experience, it has really been a very big contribution to our growth, you know, in our industry, I can say. But yes, I mean, patriarchy has always, you know, brushed its thing, you know, it has rubbed on to us also, because whenever we think of ancient world or even mythology, you know, when it comes to cooking, it's always Nala Maharaja. It's, you know, we can't think of a woman. But in my experience from my childhood, it is, you know, both maternal and paternal grandmothers, they were the backbones of our restaurants.
Yes.
They were the ones grinding the masalas back home. They were the ones who knew the consistency of the idli batter or the dosa batter. They were the ones who would come and train our cooks. Like even to this day, like we have about 25 restaurants today, but it is my mother who visits the kitchen
Wow.
on a daily basis. And she knows, she's the only one who can probably go and tell the cook that you've been cooking for so long, but I can still tell you that the size of the, not the dosa, like the size of the, vessel that you're using to soak the urad dal is not okay. It's not giving it space to, so yeah, ubba ki jaga hai lali. So I think, yeah, I mean, I have always remembered my grandmothers, my mothers, all the women in my family being such an integral part of our business. But when you look at management positions, again, they're not to be seen at all. But I can very proudly say that in Pakashala, our HR, who is employing like 1,600 people, who fires them, who hires them, it's a woman today. Our HR is a woman. And the co-director, that is my mother, she's a woman. And of course, I'm part of the business too. But also like in every level, like be it service levels or, be it the marketing agency, we really rely on women because, I mean, I don't think it'll be wrong to say this, but I find women really sincere at jobs. So, yeah. Sorry, but yeah, so I think technology has really helped us, and there's so much more there that we are yet to explore and make use of, and apply it to our business. And but yes, I think it's been great.
It's interesting if you think about it, because across cultures, when restaurants are trying to sell you food, they're saying it's like how your mom made it or how your grandmother made it.
Exactly, they take you back with memories, nostalgia.
Yeah,
And,
but the people making it are men.
Yeah.
so that is interesting. As a woman artist, when you straddle these two industries, do you find them bleeding into each other in terms of biases, or is there one industry where you feel like it bites a little bit more?
I think it's the same everywhere. I think it's the same because when it comes to pay, yes, it is not equal. I can say that.
Yeah.
Very confidently, I can say that it is not at all
And in
fair.
both industries, it's not equal?
I mean, the opportunities are equal, but the pay, I would say, with arts, it's a bit more hard. Yeah, with for theatre performances or for movies, it's hardly anything. So yeah, that is always there.
Thank you, Vaijayanti.
Thank you.
Akshay, when we were speaking earlier, we were talking about, at Merck, what you're doing to make it a better workplace for women, to produce products and technologies that are more suited for women. Has digital media or the ability to access jobs online made it easier for women to maybe apply for a job at Merck that they wouldn't have been able to do earlier? Is technology helping women break into companies like that?
Well, if I have to tell you the HR kind of answer, if I have to give you, yes, definitely yes, it has. However, of course, there are a lot of things that we need to do to make sure that it is approachable. It goes to them, and it is not that it is only one-way street for them to come to us. So what we are trying to do is, of course, like any other corporate is doing, of course, we are keeping certain positions open only for female employees and all of that. So those check boxes, we have done that. However, does our responsibility end there? Not at all. What we are trying to do is that we are trying to see where this bias comes from. When we looked at it, what we saw was the bias is also from females. Like the way you were saying, they can be sincere to their jobs. Well, I would like to say is that they're overcritical about their jobs. And which is not necessary. Certain times, certain things are so easy, it's like just you say it and it is done. However, they want to go through the rule book and they want to do things the way they are. That is one thing. The second thing is that also a lot of times, biases are coming from their own houses as well. From childhood, the encouragement which is there, that itself is not the right one. So what we are trying to do is that we are trying to reach out to them through technology to make sure that they understand that what are the opportunities which are available to them. We are talking about it. We are trying to get to that space to make sure that they come and speak. They not only that. Now this is attraction of talent. We going out and then talking about it. Internally also, most of the corporates, it's nothing different. It's usually 30% is the diversity ratio that they have. Few companies might have it up to 40%, but then it is 30 is what it is. And then leadership is 20%, 25% at max. At least in corporates, when I see I'm coming from healthcare, I have experience into technology as well, that's max that it goes to. So taking them through the levels is big challenge. We have this diversity that I'm talking to you about is at the base level. They come from the college, but then up the ladder, that becomes difficult for them. So we are creating programs to make sure that these people stay. Mentorship programs, wherein when I say we have near about 3,000 employees, which makes 900 employees as females, what we are trying to do is that 10 leaders who can mentor these people, which is like 100 cohorts, and then talk to them about what they have gone through the journey of life, and then things that they've gone through, they don't need to go through the same thing. So with the help of technology, of course, we are trying to do this. In addition to that, of course, we are trying to make sure that there are certain reservations that we have. Of course, it is equal opportunity, but then to make sure that the workplace is equal, we are trying to do these reservations in our organization.
That's very interesting because you know that organizations need to think about this consciously, but you don't necessarily see it actually being done. So it's heartening to see that there is conscious thought in Merck to make it easier for women to stay for the long run.
Well, to add to that, one of the other thing that I feel which has worked in the past is also allyship.
Yeah.
Allyship from male colleagues is something that we are trying to foster in our organizations, wherever I have worked.
Yeah.
The reason is also that, first things first is that this diversity definitely increases productivity, and then your workplace is more bearable, I can say. So with that, right, it is extremely important for all the male colleagues to understand why is this even needed. Of course, their side of it, how do we make sure that they understand it? So we are not restricting ourselves to only the female population, but then male population also, to tell them why it is needed. And then of course there are biases which come from there. So we are trying to kind of reduce that as much as possible, and then give awareness to that.
And then speaking about the products that Merck makes available for the common public, and 50% or more of those are women. So when you look at that, many women have experienced when they're meeting medical professionals that there is this bias amongst them against women who come to them with ailments. As we embrace more technology and AI gets into treatment and medical profession, do you see AI helping overcome those biases?
Well, honestly, since I come from technology background, I do understand that AI has definitely made a lot of difference in the past. However, the personal, the human interaction is something that is not going to go away very soon. So definitely those biases are going to remain. However, at least at Merck, if I have to talk to you about it, Merck specializes in IVF or pregnancy-related drugs and cancer-related drugs. So at least, so the questions that I get is that why our products are so expensive. The reason is that we have to have extensive research done behind it to make sure that our products are right. And of course, like you said, especially when it comes to IVF, IUI, and all of these things, we need to do the proper research, only then we'll be able to give that. So those biases, I understand healthcare professional, it is going to be there. However, to a large extent with research, we're trying to reduce it as much as possible.
And one last question for you would be, we're talking about making technology accessible for women, but we should also think about women producing technology and giving them the opportunity to meet the people who can manifest that technology out there in the world. So is there any way that companies can make it easier for women entrepreneurs, techpreneurs to raise funding, be more visible and be more seen as producers of technology?
Absolutely. So my previous organization was Lowe's, and then that's where what we also did was innovation was itself a vertical, wherein we used to host hackathons, wherein there were specific reservations only for women specific organizations. So we used to fund that as well. So we have been doing that. Is that enough? maybe, maybe not. The problem starts with the supply itself. Now, for example, if I have to tell you, do we have that many people going to the engineering college? Not necessary. A lot of students drop out when they have to get into the engineering college. When we are looking at they coming out of the engineering college, most of them are married by then, and then they just go to, they have their set of things. So that is where, when I told you that we are trying to go to schools and talk to them about, hey, this is what is available.
Yeah.
And that is when we are trying to empower them at that place to make sure that we can grow in the future. So that's what we are trying to do.
You're so right, because what we tell little girls what they should be doing when they grow up is very different from what we tell little boys what they should do when they
Very
grow up.
true.
So,
Unfortunately.
so
that is
it's
what
great
it
that
is.
people are thinking about it at a corporate or an institutional level to go ahead and change that. So that's wonderful. Any final thoughts from any of you as we reach the end of this panel discussion? Please.
Although we have so much innovation and technology happening, so we have the best of the cameras coming, best of the editing techniques coming, but still the content is still the male voice. Like I'm sure Sujata will be able to answer it better. It's still, the serials will still speak about this, daughter-in-law, mother-in-law. The serials to this day haven't changed.
Antagonist women.
That never changes. The male voice, and in classical dance, which has been existing for 2000 years now, the songs we enact to this day is all male voices. They're all written by men about women, where the woman is 16-year-old, 17-year-old coy girls who, will look at you and cry for you and wait for you and pine for you. These are the songs we enact to this day.
Right.
Right? So the change, when we talk about change in innovation technology changing just doesn't change the voice. There's a need to be change in the voice.
Yeah.
Technology can be sometimes that is being used wrongly, just because it's an observation. She was dancing and behind there's a skeleton dancing. When you're using this LED wall today, when that young classical dancer was performing, she was doing something about a god, and behind in the LED wall, skeletons were dancing. See that. See, technology for what? How? Why? Those answers should also be addressed.
Yeah, I think it's a very powerful tool, and it's up to us as to how we make use of it, for the betterment.
Absolutely. So if, according to a very recent survey, it said about 68 to 69% of men have access to the internet, and about 60 to 62% of women have the access to internet, actually.
Okay.
Even though the access is pretty much, there's just about 8 or 9% difference, for women to move up in terms of the technology, like I was saying, to be in positions of power, that is still not there for them. Like we had Akshay, who's basically talking about how there are certain things that women can just say it, and why don't we say it? And he also gave the reason behind it, because that's how we've grown up.
Yeah.
It's not
True.
just A for us. If they say just do A, we will do A, B, C. That's because in case A does not work, at least B will work, or if in case both don't work, at least. So we're so used to doing hard work. I think now that we all need to start learning how to do smart work also.
Yeah.
So hopefully and technology is bringing us really close to the world. Now it's not just India, but we're getting to see what women are doing across the globe, and that in itself is an inspiration. So a lot of girls who are in school, when they get to see more women scientists or more women doctoral candidates having the word doctor that's attached to a woman's name, and for them to think at a school level, saying that yes, it's possible for me to reach there. From there, I think everything is going to change, and hopefully it will change.
You brought up, you talked about AI at one point. A friend of mine works in an ad agency, and he shared this video with me where they did an experiment. And they said, what will AI do for us? And one of the things it says was gender equality. So they said, okay, if that's what you're going to do, let's ask you some questions. And they threw some questions at the AI tool. Explain ROI to a male, to a female. Okay? And the explanation to the male was very technical. The explanation to the female was based on an analogy.
Okay.
And they kept throwing different words to it, and in every instance, for the male it was technical, for the female it was analogy based. So you can understand with an analogy. Where is AI picking up these biases from?
From the materials field.
The biases are what is present right now.
Yeah.
Right? It's picking it up from there. So until these biases change, AI is not going to change.
Correct.
The AI is still going to pick up these biases. That's one part. Another very interesting thing I read was, as humans, we are wired to be scared. Which is why breaking news does like all these, sensationalism works better.
Yeah.
If I know that there is a tree over there, it makes me happy. But knowing that there's a lion behind the tree is more important information for me.
Yeah.
Because the lion can kill me.
Yeah.
And self-preservation kicks in. Right? Now, we've been hunters from the when the race started. And we're wired to sense danger and to protect ourselves. But 15,000 years ago, we started doing agriculture. So we moved away from the life of the predator. But we are still scared.
Yeah.
Because we've got 385,000 years of wiring,
It's hard
which
wired.
in 15,000 years, it's not going to go away. But slowly it will go away. In the same way, men have been doing the hunting and women have been doing the nurturing for several years. It's only in the last 200 years or so that women have started coming into the organized workforce or the workplace.
Yeah.
It will take time for those biases to change because we are hardwired in a different way. Right? It's not something that we're doing right now. It's something that's come down to us. It will change, but for that, the calling out has to happen. The conversations have to happen.
Yeah.
All of this will happen, but it will take time.
No,
And we have to allow ourselves that time.
As a mother, and when I see the reactions of the world to mothers and fathers, I completely see what you mean when you say women are perceived as the nurturers. And in order to allow men to fall into that role more naturally, we do need to challenge that bias, right?
Yeah.
Inherently.
Yeah, so when you said that it's food that your mother or grandmother makes, I take offense to that.
Yeah.
I'm like, why? I cook. I make food for my daughter. When are you going to say food like your dad makes?
Yeah.
Just the opposing side, right? So these are things that are hardwired for a very long time. And it will break, but it will break very slowly. And we have to allow it that time. And everything that we are doing today will help to get to that place.
I'd like to just add to that, because of the role of a nurturer for a woman. This was a panel of psychologists, and they said how the invention of a contraceptive, sanitary pad, were turning points for women. To break out of just one role of always being the nurturer and take on other roles. So those were innovations too at some point that helped us to look beyond and try different roles. Somehow his speaking about the nurturer triggered that we couldn't really afford to do anything else for a certain amount of time because we were restricted to these things.
Biological is there. Such a small thing, such a wonderful change.
So what I think, to closing note, is that one thing for sure is that we need to look at it in this way, is that equity, when we talk about it, everybody needs to look at everyone equal. Everybody has right to get access to everything and be happy as well. So technology can be a catalyst to it, for sure, yes. And then that is what we see, that it has changed a lot of things. Accessing those technologies is little far away, probably in the next 5 years it can become extremely cheap, which we've seen it has become cheap. So reaching that will make it as a catalyst, definitely. But then what we need to definitely push through is making sure that people look at everything equally. So that's what we call it, right? I embrace equality. So that's what we should be closing it with.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for your time and wonderful insight.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Check. Thank you all so much for participating. Your insights and expertise were invaluable. It's time for some entertainment now. Some songs are evergreen. Presenting you all, Alankrita Bhatt, co-founder of Janashri Music and Dance Academy, a trained Bharatanatyam dancer by profession and a choreographer. She's here to spread some joy on this happy occasion. Let's all groove and enjoy to the Bolly folk performance. A huge round of applause for her.
मिट्टी पे खींची लकीरें रब ने तो ये तस्वीर बनी आग हवा पानी को मिलाया तो फिर ये तस्वीर सजी हस्ती तेरी विशाल हो कुदरत का तू कमाल है मनमोहिनी तेरी अदा तुझे जब देख ले तो फिर गदा पर से झरे 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 नाचे चमक चमक वो बिजली दीवानी है बेमिसाल तू कोरी कोरी अनछुई तुझ में है कुदरत सारी खोई तुझ में है कुदरत सारी खोई खोई तुझ में है कुदरत सारी खोई खोई मिट्टी की है मूरत तेरी मासूमियत फितरत तेरी ये सादापन ये भोलापन तू महकी महकी तू लहकी लहकी तू चली चली हर गली गली तू हवा के ढंग संग सनन सनन तेरा अंग अंग जैसे जल तरंग कोई लहर लहर चली ठहर ठहर पानी का मेल तेरे तन बदन झर 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 अंगार जैसा तेरा रोम रोम है दहका दहका अग्नि का खेल तू अगन अगन
Wow, that was amazing. Now let us have a look at the AV clip that is going to be played here on stage.
In India, we see a significant rise in the number of young entrepreneurs, focused and working tirelessly all day long on that one brilliant idea they have. But in this fast-paced world, they don't get enough time to think about small things related to their workspaces, like Wi-Fi, payments, safety, security. Well, that's where we come in. As an entrepreneur or a business owner, you will get all the essential and updated amenities. Whether you require a private office, an enterprise office, or simply an elegant event space, we have them all. With custom crafted designs and spaces, we make sure that your surroundings inspire you, motivate you, and help drive you towards your goals. You can have conversations with people from different backgrounds who can give you fresh perspectives and challenge you to think differently. Indulge yourself in entertaining events and team-building sessions fully organised by us. This will rejuvenate your mind, which in return will help you to be more productive. The recent pandemic made us more vulnerable to the outside world, mainly in the spaces where we work in groups. So, we took a step further and made our workspaces future protected. Now, all our co-working spaces are certified by ISO and British Council for being COVID-19 safe. With 40 locations all over India, we make ourselves more approachable and give you more choices. We are a growing family with 90+ clients and over 40k seats. So come join us and be part of our co-working community. 315 Work Avenue, your business address.
That was 315 Work Avenue, ladies and gentlemen. Can we give a huge round of applause, especially for our founders here who are seated right here. With their efforts, we have been able to reach 40+ cities. Is that right? 40+ locations, that's right. Give a huge round of applause once again. Thank you. Next, we have with us a stand-up comedian from Bangalore. She was one of the top 10 contestants in Comic Stan Season 2 on Amazon Prime Video and has toured across the country with her comedy shows. In addition, her comedy videos on YouTube has garnered over 8 million views and have been featured on Amazon Funnies too. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Ramya Ramapriya.
Hi. I know you. My granny watches you. I also watch you. Yeah, man, that was like journey from comedy time to
Shall we start? Are we good? Okay. So, all right. Hi, everyone. We're starting our second panel now, and we've got a very interesting mix of people on here, I think. So Sujata, the comedian was right, you know. I've seen you, my whole family's seen you. So maybe we can start this panel with you and ask you some of the questions about how technology has changed. So one of the things I was thinking about when I was thinking about what to ask you is the way acting in television or acting or being a media person and performing, the way scripts were written before, the way scripts were, characters were written for women before, has that changed with technology? Has there been a difference in the way women are perceived now?
Yeah, it certainly changed quite a bit from what it used to be earlier to now. A big thank you to the stand-up comedian. She was too good. Yeah, and what has changed is earlier the script was on paper, now it is PDF. That has changed. But characterization, dividing the shots, all of that hasn't changed. It still remains the same. Yeah, but earlier, back then, like, I don't know if you know our terminologies, but I'm sure you won't. So when there is a scene, we have different kinds of shots. Like all of us together is a master shot, which is a wide shot to establish the number of people in the shot, in the scene. Yeah. And extreme close-up is our close-up. Or Sagar is next to me, the camera is behind him, that is over shoulder, suggestion shot. Okay? So these are the shots. Of course, that still remains the same, but the way what we wear, what continuity we maintain, all of that has digitized. As in, earlier they used to write, Madam, nim earring yaudu, which earring are you wearing, which jeans are you wearing, what top are you wearing, this will be a continuity when you go from your house to the office. Now it is like photo tekbuto, just one photo. Ma'am, scene number this, please get this continuity costume. This is how it's digitized. Yeah. So you know what I mean. Yeah. Of course, I mean, there are pros and cons to everything. Probably we used to work a lot more harder earlier as compared to now. That's what I feel. Maybe we've become a little more lazier these days because of technology is what I feel sometimes, not always. Because at the touch of a button, you can just order groceries, you can order medicine, you can order anything. And you can keep a tab of whatever is happening in your life at the touch of a button. Earlier, we used to make notes of what our shooting dates used to be in a diary. Again, now diary is coming back. Not that we've forgotten, but yeah, again, at the touch of, there's an app at the touch of your finger. Yeah, digital diary. So yeah, there's a lot of changes, of course. Yeah, and we should accept it, in a very positive spirit.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah. No, speaking of apps and technology, one of the things that I think we should talk about is women and mental health. The apps that are available for women for mental health, and whether those are helping. How can technology help? Because women are supposedly more prone to mental health issues than men. So how can technology help address that?
See, one, you definitely can go to probably a person who can, listen to all these things and, give their XYZ input to this. But yeah, there are certain apps, like for example, somebody doesn't get enough sleep, adequate sleep, and that person is struggling. Or if that person does not get sleep at all. So there are sleep-induced kind of apps, like different kind of music, XYZ, which actually again helps. I have tried, but I doze off within 5 seconds, so that is different. But I've heard other people say that it really helps.
Yeah.
So these are things which, are slowly getting into, an app, and it's bringing in a lot of, success rate when you actually think about it. See, back then, people used to like, probably parents, grandparents, tale mele hoditin, bai muchkond malko types, okay?
Yeah.
Today, it is like, give the phone, you play one game, after that you have to sleep.
Yeah.
This is how it is,
Yeah.
yeah? So, I think, somewhere down the line, if you use such apps, it definitely helps. Over a period of time, there's a lot of changes in everything. Adaptability is something which is very important, is what I feel.
Yeah.
Many women deal with a lot of mental stress. Earlier, the stress was how to cook, what to cook. And I don't know how to cook like my mother. I haven't taken any formal education for that. Now today, touch of a button, YouTube videos are there, apps are there. What kind of dish do you want? Whether it is international, national, local, ragi mudde also, they know how to make.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, we have to look at it very positively because everybody can be a chef today.
Yeah.
A chef coming down to show you how to plate, how to present, everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you have to adapt it.
Yeah.
It's about it.
Use
yeah.
the good bits
yeah,
of the technology.
True. So, at least women can be rest assured that they can cook really well in spite of all the stress that they have.
Just follow the instructions in
That's
the video.
it.
Yeah?
They ask you to put only 1 teaspoon, you have to put only 1 teaspoon. When it serves for 4 people, it is only 1 teaspoon, not more than that. Then again, husband will come and say, hey, jasti khara aitu, idu kammi aitu, adilla, idilla, avare chanag ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಬೇಡ next time Swiggy ಇಂದ order ಮಾಡಬೇಡ. No. Follow what the chef says, things will be fine.
Unlike my mother's method of teaching cooking, which is like, ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದು ಹಾಕು. This is a better way to learn.
No, I've heard many people say,
Yeah.
I mean, I've worked in radio, TV, and my, colleagues, someone makes something really nice. Hey, heng marde? We'll definitely ask, right? How did you prepare this? So they say, you know what, I opened the fridge, there was 1 carrot, 2 beans, 1 drumstick. With that only I made. I just added all the masalas that I could find and so how on earth can that be a recipe? Tell me. If you do that, what is going to happen at home?
Yeah.
Imagine.
No, but yeah. But speaking of something that, in a way that technology can help people come out with professions, but like some of the things that we spoke about earlier was women who were cooking in their kitchens suddenly found themselves a YouTube channel and they were out there, getting followers, monetizing, making a profession for
They
themselves.
are financially extremely independent now.
Yeah.
They earn more than the husband.
Yeah. But
You have to click this to find, a way to get 25,000 rupees today, this evening in your pocket.
yeah.
Types.
Yeah. But,
So,
but, if
yeah.
but if you bring that to the entertainment industry, earlier it was like, you had to work so hard, and I'm sure it's still very hard to get your break. You hear these stories, I went to Bombay, I lived on the streets, I ate vada pav for dinner for 5 years, and that's when I got my break. Today, it's like, you set up a YouTube channel, you call yourself an influencer. So has technology helped make it easier to be spotted as a talent, whether it's as performing talent or whether it's as technical or, you know, cinematic talent or behind the scenes aspects?
It's helped in every way. To be frank, the first thing, whether it is a collaborator, whether it is an actor, whether it is a budding actor, somebody who's come for an audition, the first thing they ask is, do you have a YouTube channel? Do you have, you know, a smartphone? Smartphone is out of question. Everybody has a smartphone these days. Now, when they send for auditions, the first thing they send is through WhatsApp.
Yeah.
They record a video, you know, and edit it themselves and send it across. It's changed a lot. I mean, it's reduced the work, it's reduced manpower big time, and it's a leap. It's literally a leap from what it used to be to what it is today.
Yeah.
So it definitely has changed lives of many people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, well, that's true. Because, I mean, the effort that you put in is different, but
Correct.
it probably the platform that you have of reaching 5, 6, 7 professionals to reaching hundreds of people at the same time.
Very true.
And one of them being the right
so
person.
many people are being picked up from those, whatever talent hunts which happen, you know, people who come and registered themselves through their YouTube channels or WhatsApp or whatever. I mean, Snapchat, it could be Snapchat or Instagram also. They post reels, they put all of that only to showcase that they have this kind of, you know, talent.
Yeah.
And they get picked up. There's so many people who are in our industry. Now, actually, they have started saying, no TikTok videos, no WhatsApp videos. You have to come, you have to do the audition. We will give you different characters.
Yeah.
You need to play all that, and only then, you know, we'll see whether you can, you know, play this kind of a character or not, whether you suit this role or not.
Yeah.
So it's like that.
Going over to Sagar for a minute, right? So we've heard about the woman's perspective of being in the entertainment industry, and Sneha spoke about it to some extent, Sujata spoke about it. So when you see scripts being written or when you see roles being written for men and women today, what is your perspective on what's good and what's bad?
Well, first of all, thank you guys for having me here. I feel really honored. Like Sujata ma'am just put right now, that a lot of things have changed and a lot of things haven't changed. Like for example, I think it's very medium specific.
Yeah.
Like if you consider TV, there is only certain growth in TV when it comes to scripts or the way the content is created in the first place or curated. Like serials are meant to be about stories which are between four walls because of the ease of access and the relatability. If somebody stayed in a joint family where a certain protagonist is from a rich family and the female lead is from a poor family, the same thing keeps going on, and the presentation is changed.
Yeah.
From having fancier sets to fancier cameras to having visually a little bit of difference. I think the costumes, like she mentioned, only those things have changed. The perspective of how a female character has been portrayed has started to change is what I assume. Like I am part of a TV show which is called Satya, where the protagonist is actually a female who's very tomboyish in nature. And the way she puts up with the society and the societal norms and the status quo is very uniquely represented. For a female to take the role of a male, support her family, get her sister married off, then get married and then go to her in-laws and face these social core norms is very unique. And things like this may be experimental right now, but they have been adored by the audience because it's definitely different from the regular Saas Bahu material we are used to as TV audience. At the same time, when you consider that there is this big medium which is suddenly evolved during the COVID period, the OTTs, it's brought out like a massive boom. Like recently I was reading about Netflix where the ratio of men and women working in Netflix is 51 women and 49 men. And that's a big kudos to them. Like I personally feel that the equality should lie from everywhere. See, considering there are certain aspects where certain people, like for example, let's say it's a late night shoot, it is a safety issue, there is a health issue, that matters. And I think it becomes more qualitative in a nature. Like for example, there is definitely a pay parity. Like a superstar who is so-and-so will definitely get paid lesser than a female superstar, that is because that is how the markets have been working over a period of time. And slowly things are changing. Like for example, let's say a Bollywood film, a masala film is about, the budget is about 200 crores. For a producer, it's just business. It doesn't matter who the actor is, who the actress is. He will get paid based on the ratio of how successful the cinema is.
Right.
Like let's say if it earns about 400 crores, there's a percentage of cut which goes into it.
Right.
But whereas maybe somebody who's more talented, who's a heroine or a female actress won't get the same amount.
Yeah.
But that has changed because of the OTT. Like filmmakers have become more bolder with the kind of storylines they want to say. The protagonist aspect, it is coming from a point where the protagonist is not the macho hero anymore.
Yeah.
It's more realistic.
Yeah.
And from the point of a protagonist, the protagonist also can be a female. The antagonist can be a female.
Yeah.
And since it is more closer to what reality lies, like I read a long time ago that the society is what we see. I mean, like what we see of the society is usually in the films or in theater.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is basically like a mirror or reflection. And that somehow I think has materialized into our culture of OTTs or cinema or theater in fact. And that is eventually happening. Yes, there is a pay grade parity and that I think eventually will change. A few days ago, I think I read a tweet of Miss Priyanka Jones, Priyanka Chopra Jonas. She in fact tweeted that after a long time she is now paid equally to her co-star.
You have to go that far to finally start getting pay parity. Like, that's...
Well, I think, again, it is more, it's not quantitative, it's qualitative.
Yeah.
Like, for example, a protagonist has to do more work.
Yeah.
You're going to shoot for more days. Like, if you consider it on a more basic level, the more number of days you shoot, the more you should get paid.
Correct.
Daily wages.
Correct.
Like, if a protagonist is a male hero, okay, like hero, he's going to be shooting for 45 days. And usually in these masala blockbuster commercial films, the heroine will be shooting for about 10 days, man. 10 days?
Yeah.
So there is already a difference there. It is
So
more...
that's where the problem started.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And that is also the thing with regard to how heroes are perceived in our culture. Like, you've heard of associations for heroes, you've got fan associations, you've got fan clubs. And there are very few heroines who enjoy this kind of a position where they have fan clubs. And I think that is slowly changing again. And OTT has been like a massive improvement, like right from the Sushmita Sen starrer Arya, which came on Hotstar. It was amazing, did really well.
Yeah.
And the one directed by Rajan DK, that was called Family Man, where Samantha Prabhu played the antagonist.
Antagonist, yeah.
Amazing. And Filmfare, an institution like Filmfare encouraging the OTT with an OTT awards, it's just changed the horizon right now.
Yeah. OTT is also like, from a legal perspective, I can't help think that way, but it's also less prone to censorship, right? So
Correct.
you do have a lot more creative freedom. The only interesting question is, are people using that creative freedom to make it equal, to make it an equal playing field? So do you, for instance, see more women directing? Or
a lot of women are. Like
Many are.
Yeah.
Our Satya director itself, she is Swapna Krishna.
Yeah.
She is a director. She used to be an actor and she learned direction. And she directs so well. I mean, looking at her itself, brings us so much pride because we know her so well. She directs amazingly. And she has an entire crew. All the men listen to her. So she's the boss lady. It feels so nice.
Well, I kind of feel that the director should not be gender biased. Like, as in, you can't call somebody a female director or a male director. At the end of the day, they're a director. They know their work and that is why they are on that position. You can't differentiate saying, oh, she's a female director, oh, he's a male director. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. Well, although, like Sujata ma'am said, it is something which we rarely see. Or when we do see it, it is very different from what we're used to. There are so many things coming up there. There was one cinema which released last year. It was called Gantu Mute. It was shot by an all-girl crew, all-women crew.
Oh, yeah,
it was amazing. It won a lot of awards too. Even commercially, they were quite successful. So things like this are not only changing the hemisphere of cinema or arts, but also the mindset of people. Like I would rather talk about, I mean, not I would talk about this. There was this series called The Lust Stories. So there were so many detailed things that usually women kind of find taboo or to talk to men about. This was so artistically shown. And at a point of time, I think a lot of men realize that, oh, this is actually an issue that can be addressed with just a conversation.
Yeah.
And I think it makes so many things so much more easier to communicate.
True, so true, so true. Speaking of women in leadership roles, right? Nidhi, do we look at situations where technology, or is there an increasing scenario where technology is helping women be more financially independent and be more assertive in general?
So yes, like definitely technology is helping women in all the ways possible. So let's say we talk about financial independence and women in workplace. What are the major issues which women are facing when you talk about being in workplace and seeing where they have to, see their career? It's not always easy for women to do a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
They have more than 80% of marriages in India are arranged marriage. So women are expected to move geographies, even if they are working in any place or anywhere, they have to move their geographies. Then you go through a beautiful phase of pregnancy and everything. So it's challenging for women to always be in the workplace. But with technology, you have so many avenues. Like let's say we talk about content creators. So people can create content on so many social media channels and have their own channel and have a line of revenue for themselves. So I believe more than the parity everywhere, what need to be fixed is financial independence. And financial independence can come through a person doing some work from anywhere.
Yeah.
And that is very important. And technology is solved with from work from home. It has solved with part-time jobs, with flexible work hours. Then with entrepreneurship also, right? Like right now, a woman who is sitting in, let's say, a tier 2 or tier 3 city, how do you start a business? You start a business, you have a product and you want to sell the product and you want to build an ecosystem around it, or you have a service you excel and you want to sell it and make profit out of it. Earlier, how you will start it would be opening a brick and mortar. For that you will need finances, which again is very difficult.
Yeah.
Then you need your time, of course, and then the accessibility, like where can you sell?
Yeah.
Right? So technologies like, Amazon or Flipkart or Myntra or Etsy, you can just open your own store on all these channels and sell it from anywhere. Or you can have your own brand set up from any of the cities. Logistics is solved today. You can send anything from any location to a global,
Buyer,
global industry, global buyer. Or even in your own city, if you are, you have a store in your city, only a person who's walking by or word of mouth, it can be shown, right?
Yeah.
But now you can have your own brand set up on website, you can create your own content, you can market it on different channels like Instagram, Facebook, social media, Google. So yeah, like it has solved, I feel like women now have a lot of avenues to earn money.
Yeah.
That technology has, made it available and solved it in a great, great way.
So you touched upon entrepreneurship, right? And you have to think about how many, so when women are entrepreneurs, they're not simply called entrepreneurs, they're given titles like mompreneur or stuff like that. And it instantly means that, you have to treat them with kid gloves and stuff like that. So for women entrepreneurs, what can we do to make it easier for them to access, let's say, venture capital funding, or be seen as an entrepreneur as equal to a male entrepreneur in the same space? So how can technology help bridge that?
See, how technology can help you bridge that is you bringing your essence to the digital world in all the mediums you have. With people, tagging someone as mompreneur or anything, I think it need to change. First of all, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. You are an entrepreneur even if you're a mompreneur or any kind of entrepreneur you are. And, people say it's a women entrepreneur or something. I feel it's a platform. I think, you should, if you are getting some leverage out of it, please use it. Don't be offended by it.
Yeah.
It's fine, whatever you are called. But leveraging and bringing yourself out and putting yourself out there is most important part. So let's say you spoke about having accessibility to funds. My startup is a bootstrap startup.
Yeah.
And it's to start a business, I don't think the only thing which you need is funds.
Yeah.
But yes, you might need a lot of guidance, or you might need a support system. And that support system can come from anywhere. You have to reach out. As a woman, sometimes we feel on our own that, should we do it or should we not do it?
Yeah.
It's about in us, if we go approach, maybe we have to approach 30 more people than a guy has to approach.
Yeah,
but we have to start from somewhere.
Yeah.
And I think it's from within rather than, there are a lot of ecosystem now which are built, There are a lot of VCs, micro VCs, who are specifically for women-specific funds. There are a lot of government-run themes where they fund the startups which has some ideas. They'll give you funding. And they focus on women. Everyone is trying to bring women on the forefront. It's like, do we want to use it? Are we aware of it?
Yeah.
Awareness is very important. So I think awareness about all that is very important. And then us looking at each and every avenue and seeing, okay, we want to do that.
Yeah, yeah, so true, because half of it is knowing where to ask, right? And the other half of it is women aren't conditioned to ask in the first place. So, making that leap is part of the journey. But that's very helpful and insightful, especially coming from a bootstrapped founder. It's really good to know what your experience has been. So thank you for that.
Yes, thank you so much.
So, Dr. Sushma, we were talking about how, you said when we were speaking just now, how earlier you would see women come into, to ask to be trained in performing arts in certain specific ways or certain specific niche markets or skills. But now you're seeing women come in and be trained as light technicians, sound technicians, cinematographers. What has led to that change, and how can we continue to build that?
Actually, I come from theatre background, so that's okay. So in theatre, normally we have two kinds of theatre, like this professional and amateur theatre. First of all, women artists in theatre, earlier they were not respected, and whoever acts in theatre, they were not respected, and they were treated as, they are open to all. That was the idea. Then now, because of education, many educated women getting into theatre and bringing in new concepts, content, it has helped a lot.
Yeah.
And as I was telling you, earlier we had educated people in the field, but we didn't have enough technology to apply their education here. That is like, for example, let us say we have a computer engineer who's working in a theatre, and we don't have any equipment like lighting design. Earlier it was all manual.
Yeah.
They had to do, and it was very heavy. You know, we should accept that, you know, carrying heavy things is not possible. We should accept, I always felt that when we speak about equality or equity, we should always think of the differences we have, and the equity is respecting each other.
Yeah.
It is not that I am equal to you. We are not here to debate that. We have our differences, we have our biological differences, we just have to accept it and respect it.
Yeah.
So, you know, many set properties or light equipments or sound equipments. Earlier, you know, people, even the artists, they used to tease women. It's like, oh, you are equal to us, na? Why don't you carry that? Hey, carry that platform, no? Carry that this, carry, you know. You want to be a light technician, carry that. First, climb on the thing and you just put it. You know, we have so many other like menstrual cycles.
Yeah.
We have so many hormonal changes. Even men were not aware of it. This technology has made them more aware of it. Like, for example, in advertisement, I remember my grandfather asking when there was a Vesper advertisement. He was like, hey, ಏನದು? What is that? ಏನದು ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು? They were not aware of it. But now, in theater, we speak about sanitary pads and we speak about menstrual cycle.
Yeah.
And I and Sneha, we do a play called Andre, where we talk about women issues and we talk about sanitary pad and we talk about womanhood, motherhood. All these are the taboos. They say you enjoy your motherhood.
Yeah.
But how many of us enjoyed motherhood, I don't know. We were always imposed that you have to enjoy the motherhood. You are women only if you enjoy. And mother is always tabooed to be Tyagamayi Tai. So, if you want to be a good mother, don't eat, give it to your children.
Yeah.
And next day you go and work. Yeah. How is it possible? I always tell my son, I am not of that kind of a mother. I'll eat, I'll give you little, I'll eat, because I have to go work and get some more food for myself. So all these content, there is an evolution in content in theater.
Yeah.
And this has made, you know, artists are not only women. We have men artists and also directors who are coming up. We also have this, I'm just deviating from technology, but I really want to put it forward. We have so-called playwrights and directors who, they're all men. And they say, we speak for women.
Okay.
We will understand what women feel.
Okay.
And they write, you know, they write stories blaming men. And I was like, why are you blaming them? We don't have anything against men.
Yeah.
We just want them to respect us.
Yeah.
This is what I have gone through and this is what I am. I don't want to sit and cry. Come on. I've gone beyond it. I have all this problem, but I know how to handle it.
Yeah.
That should be the content. So this technology, of course, one is education, which has made, we are, because of Google and because of so many, you know, earlier we thought that this problem, this women problem was only in India, only in Karnataka, only in Bangalore, or only in this village. But because of technology, we realized that women is treated the same way all over the world, wherever you go.
Yeah.
So that was the first realization. Oh, no, this is not the problem here alone. So these small realizations through technology has made us move on, accept, otherwise we would crib on these problems, just, you know, mulberry bush, running around the mulberry bush, this was happening, all, we just sit. Then we realize, oh, everyone are facing the same problem. When somebody can achieve, why not me? So this is the realization every woman started realizing. And when it comes to technology, as I said, because of this machineries, computerization, all that, we see women getting into different domains. Earlier, it was all beautiful women on screen.
Yeah.
And, again, that's a different issue. That's body shaming and all. Let me not get into that. I get so excited when I talk about women. I'm not, as the comedian, she said, she told that I was introduced to feminism. Even I was introduced. Then I realized feminism is not hating men.
Yeah.
It is not hating men. It is asking for equal respect as I am. Even men are tabooed, like he has to be macho, he has to earn. You have, what? My son wants to take arts. And at my house, they are like, what? You are a man, you are a boy. If you take arts, you will not get job. Go to engineering. Who will take care of your wife? Yeah. I said, his wife will take care of him, don't worry. What's the point? I mean, it's like, this is how the taboos, it's not only for women, it is also for men. Oh, innu meese bandilva? Why all this? Like, as women has, even men has.
Yeah.
But all this realization is because of technology.
Yeah.
Because we are open to the whole universe. It's in just one touch we can realize what is happening in and around, and we see so many. We talk about gender here. What about men, women, other genders?
Yeah.
They don't want to be called as any of these genders. So all this we are able to understand because of technology.
Yeah.
And also, as I said, women are getting into different domains, and as she was rightly coining, financial independence is what is very, very important.
Yeah.
So this technology, we have Google app,
yeah,
Paytm, all this has made us so strong, because normally women are prone to forget things. And women don't get into financial things. How many of you file your own IT returns? Very few. Oh, even men, wow. They are also not raising their hand. Good. So, we are not exposed to these always, I'll give you the money. You want 1,000 rupees, I'll give you. Don't worry. Even now there's a new trend. Don't worry, I'll take care. You need not give your salary to me at all. You give it to your mom's place, okay? I will take care of the... So, we are made not to get into financial aspects,
yeah,
which makes us incapable, which makes us inferior. So because of this new app, we know like Google Pay, Paytm, we just have we are prone to forget. We will see the history. Where did you give? Wait. Oh, I have paid. At least we have a record there.
yeah,
And we can say that this is what is happening with my account. So all this, and again, women in theater, they are getting into director's job and cinematography, photography, and as a light technicians. We have set designers, and I think, sorry?
Creative writers.
Creative writers, very, very important, creative writers. As like Satya is a serial. Again, she's been called as a tomboy. I don't know why. I mean, she is a woman. She's like that. Why don't you accept as she is? No. She's always been, named. I was a tomboy. I was always called as a tomboy in my college days.
yeah,
Because I used to wear one jerkin. I had one book and one pocket. I can't do that now because I'm a professor in a college. But when I was a student, I used to bunk my classes and, it was so nice. So I was always a tomboy. Even now, I'm little, outspoken and extrovert. So all the other professors say, oh, ma'am, you're gandbiri nivo. No. Okay. I take it as a compliment, no problem. Why always if we are bold, we are always compared to men, I don't know.
yeah.
And if a man who cries, what is this? This is just an emotion. I feel sad, I will cry. I feel angry, I'll burst out.
Yeah.
I have all the rights to, be angry. I have all the rights to cry. I have all the rights to feel low. And all this cinema media is also like, it is so strong. When I see all old movies, and even now I think all the serials which is coming up, they say, ಸೊಸೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹಿಂಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು, ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಎದ್ದೇಳ್ಬೇಕು, ರಂಗೋಲಿ ಹಾಕಬೇಕು, ಕಾಫಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಇಷ್ಟು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಸೊಸೆ. No, I mean, and people enjoy. It's not only men who enjoys, even women enjoys it. I don't know, I always feel technology, theatre, we have a very big responsibility of changing this. We cannot change it overnight. Yeah. But it is a long process, and I think there should be a change where I always believe I can't change the whole society, but I've made my son understand all these nuances.
Yeah.
So I've tell you better don't do this to your wife, okay? This is my ma. He's just in 10th standard now, but I've already started that. He's got used to ragging. He will never, when somebody else rags him, he'll say, hey, neena rag madad. My mom rags me every day. Forget it. So I always feel it is the mother who has to teach children. Again, I don't tell me, oh, you are again taboo. No. I'm telling, she should teach her son that you are like my daughter. Yeah. So you should also do this. It is going the other way. She's teaching the daughter that you become like him. You go, you enjoy, karo. No, both should have the responsibility, taking care, all that. I think all this technology, innovations, like Sneha was rightly coining the sanitary pads, contraceptive, all this has, these are what the innovations which has made women to walk around and, say that why should boys have all the fun? In the same way, they can also go around and all that. But at the same time, men should also be, trained, or there should be some technology. I can't say technology or innovation, but it is again teaching that this is a biological thing which happens. So you should respect those things and don't be very, you should don't feel low, don't feel embarrassed. It's just a blood, don't worry.
Yeah.
You have a blood, I have a blood. That is how you should, It's so simple and common. We should start speaking, and that is how it should be. That is what I feel.
Absolutely. No, I'm so happy for your students and your son, honestly, that they're getting to listen to this on an everyday basis, and they're exposed to this wonderful new thought. And just before I ask you for your final thoughts, I had to share with you that since we have so many people who are media persons, and I was doing something in my parents' living room a few months ago, and there was this scene on a Kannada serial that she was watching, and this female lead character who's pregnant is fighting men with swords in the serial. It might not sound realistic, but at least there was a director who thought she doesn't need some man to come and fight for her. She's doing it herself. So that to me is, progress in terms of how people are thinking about women in media, right?
Today, when you actually talk about innovation and technology, grandmothers are using smartphones. They are, parallelly watching TV and, phone. Now, if the TV doesn't work, that's okay. They're not upset. The same serial will continue on the phone.
Absolutely.
And sometimes the same time, here also there's a serial, there also there's a serial which does not repeat the next day. So they want to catch up with both.
Yeah.
So the TV is also running, the phone is also running.
Yeah.
So we must not say thank you, but indirectly we should say thank you to COVID, because technology is something that everybody got access to. Like there were so many people who didn't have a Paytm wallet.
Yeah.
There were so many people who who had not even switched on a laptop in their lifetime.
Yeah.
So for their kids' sake, at least for an online class, the mothers learned how to, switch on a laptop.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
through that, many people have started their own business. So, I mean, innovation this way and using technology that way is really good. I mean, as far as it doesn't go, or cross boundaries, it's absolutely fine. As I say, adapt ourselves to the whatever new things that are coming up. Yeah, that's about it.
I just want to add to that. My mom and dad, every day they have a syllabus to complete because we have Boot, Z5, Suvarna. So every day morning they sit because they will upload the serials 24 hours before the TV. So they can't do it in the evening. So what they do is after we are all left, they'll sit, aram se, they're enjoying their retired life. They'll on the Oot and they will forward it wherever they want and they'll just see the syllabus. Every day they finish the syllabus. That is the advantage of technology.
Like just to add to that, I think there is a bigger medium which is affected all streams of business, especially when it comes to like Ms. Vaijayanti Adiga mentioned, like visibility is become very, very important for a small business entrepreneur or a medium scale business entrepreneur or even for an actor for that matter. Yeah. For you to associate with bigger, better brands or to find yourself visible to a casting director, I think social media has played a very vital role right now.
Absolutely.
And things like this are basically because of the technology and innovation we're talking about. Considering 26% of Instagram followers, like about 230 million users currently from India, and 26.8%, 26.9% are verified profiles for women. So basically they have a higher fan following or a higher viewer base, which can actually influence a lot more lives. So yeah, I mean, like right from your OTT platforms to your social media platforms, your YouTube channels, I think they render a lot of alternative revenue streams or primary revenue streams.
Yeah.
So that can also be possible. And along with that, I think it takes somebody like her, who's a very strong mother, very strong lady. Like I think I see a lot of aspects of my mother in you, ma'am. My mom's also a very strong lady. She's maybe a little louder than you. Sorry, I mean, I say that with a lot of respect. And I think the change happens at the home level initially. Yeah. For a mom to be more aware, I think her children are going to be more aware. And for somebody like her, who's always been aware of things and who's been outspoken and to communicate effectively, I think it matters a lot. Yeah. And I think because of people like this who have communicated effectively and they've mentioned certain stuff and they've put the thought forward, I think a lot of us are becoming more aware of things. Ajay Pallavi ma'am mentioned something when we were having coffee. She said, we are not our fathers anymore. We don't think like them. And I think that makes a massive boost. Like, I don't think like my father. I mean, no disrespect to him, but I cannot think like him anymore. Yeah. And I think that is one step that we are becoming more aware towards a better future for equality.
Wonderful.
So just adding to the number there, so Instagram, YouTube, all these channels where the paid monetized content creator are there, women contributes to more than 75% in terms of making money there as compared to men content creator. So that's the ratio in all the channels which are there. So I feel again, we have all the channels, we have everything which is available, we just have to make use of it. And at the same time, the ecosystem need to be built in a way that uplift all the women. We have to, like, I as a woman, I love hiring other women. I know women have excellent work ethics. So in my team, I make sure that at least, I maintain a ratio of 40-60 or 50-50%, or all women can be there. But the ratio need to be maintained because when it comes to timings, when it comes to punctuality, when it comes to reliability, dependability, it's all there. It has, and it's great to see, that's been there, and only places where we see that women are going out of workforce is probably work-life balance, is probably, not accessibility to all these things, and that is where technology plays a beautiful, beautiful contribution. So yeah, so that's from my end. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And I mean, when I was just listening to them, one thing struck when you were telling about pregnant women fighting with many men. Uh, so, I also work with children theatre. I think Sneha is also a very good storyteller. So we work with children. So it's very, very important, like what stories we hear, give to the children. Like we have seen Disney coming with a different Cinderella story, where Cinderella will not wait for a prince, or she will not marry a prince because of that. Or we have so many cartoons. When all the cartoons which I have seen, like Tom and Jerry, when Lady Tom, that Tom with all this mascara, this Tom is like, it goes, and that is the only, even in cartoons, women were made only beautiful. Yeah. Like Popeye show, they both fight for women. Yeah. And you see any comedy show or any story which we were told, a prince, or there will be a frog, and the princess will kiss the frog, and the prince, he'll become the prince, and he will take care of the princess. This is what we were told. They were not told. We were not told that because of princess, prince got. Prince was again. The frog became the prince. It was not narrated. The narrative has changed. Yeah. And we also see so many toys which have like reading books, or these are all the innovations which we see in. And all those stories, what it is narrated, is little different from what we were hearing. Of course, this makes a major difference, because those children will not come up or grow up thinking that a prince will come and I will be the princess. We will go on a horse and I will get into a palace. No. They are like, the prince will come, I will ride the horse, he will sit behind, and we will roam around and we will come back. So this is how, he is also a prince, I am also a princess. We are both equal. If I am tired, he'll ride the horse. If he is tired, I'll ride the horse, and we will lead a happy life. So this is how the stories should be narrated, and all these innovative toys which has been coming up, I think, and also the cartoons, or all this has to be, tweeted in such a way that this equity comes from that level, grassroots level, so that when they grow up, they really respect each other.
Yeah, so I agree to that point. I come from, North Indian proper Bania family. And all the content I've watched, so I have done regular, go to Kota, study, do engineering, do MBA and all that. And when, I have started changing my thought process is when I got exposed to all the global content.
Yeah.
It was till then because, we used to see either Doordarshan or there would be DD, and I think cable came pretty late. By the time I was already out of the house. So this global content and this technology has made huge lot of difference. And this has also made a lot of difference in our parents' mindset. Yeah. Because they have grown in certain ways and they have seen life in certain ways. So you can't expect them to understand or see the other point of view. But when they see the content which is global, they understand, okay, this is also a life which is, good and nice for their daughters. Yeah. And this is what they, this is a nice thing which they can do. So when I started my business, my dad used to be like, acha, fool bechoge. I was like, huh? And then he did not, of course, take it very seriously. He was like, okay, try and see.
Yeah.
And my entire family has made it really this thing. I run it for 3-4 years. But when I came on Shark Tank is when they were like, okay, now this is because everyone started calling them. Yeah. Okay, we have seen your daughter and everything. So yeah, but I feel that's how the entire, it's an ecosystem and you should make use of that ecosystem rather than, saying it is not there. It will come. You have to, grasp it. Whatever is available, you have to grasp it.
Absolutely. No, I consider myself a supporting character in this ecosystem for entrepreneurship. So what you're saying absolutely resonates 100%. So on that note, I think we should probably open up for Q&A. So any questions anybody has?
We ourselves have one question over here.
Yes.
Now, how many of them are open to listening about sexual content? How many of them are open to talking about it, whether it is on screen, off screen? Still, it's a taboo. Don't you think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a taboo, and if you speak about sex, they will feel like this is the expression we get.
Yeah.
Like, how can somebody, if a woman speaks about it, like it's like, how can she speak about sex? It is a private thing. You should not be speaking about it. Why do you have to? I always remember that PK. Okay, that dialogue I remember. If it is a private thing, then why are you, have you seen PK? Yeah. That he'll ask about condoms and like it's a private thing, it's sex. Then why are you dole maar ke bol rahe ho ki they will have sex tonight? That is actually, I don't know. Earlier, earlier it wouldn't have been a taboo. They used to speak because when we see our sculptures and the ritual we have, we are telling that the marriage system we have, and we are telling people that they are getting into a room and all that singara and all. I think it was not a taboo. Over a period of time, I don't know how it has evolved, and it has become a private thing, personal thing. Yeah. You're not supposed to talk about sex, and that is why people are more curious about it. And they will start exploring themselves. Yeah. That's the problem.
No, I think Sagar spoke about lust stories.
Yeah,
and that was one of those explosive moments when leading filmmakers were talking about it in a movie that was available to anybody with Netflix.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, that is the question of censorship. Yeah. Like, for example, when we talk about sexual content, we're just not talking about the act itself. Yeah. We're talking about foul language, rape victims, how you kind of victimize them, what they go through. I kind of personally think that one should not make a series about it, because it is very disrespectful for the victim, her family, and it also, in certain ways, if it is not tastefully done, kind of glorifies the act by itself.
True.
Which I think is not necessary, and it kind of puts out a very awkward or a very weird notion right out there, where content is not curated and everybody has access, like a 13-year-old, 15-year-old.
Yeah.
And that can kind of make a lot of difference in how a perspective changes for a kid. I think kids are very impressionable. Like right back to what you were talking about, censorship.
Yeah.
Like, talking about foul languages, and I think the previous discussion we were talking about the galis.
Yes.
Like
yes.
how explosive, like when somebody talks about, like when an MC comes in, I don't think when somebody says, nobody gives a shit about it. I think we hold our mothers and our sisters or women in our lives so very close to our heart that it actually hurts. But you can't really ask for it.
Always the galis are for mother only.
Yeah,
mothers and sisters and all that. Adu enagide, you see any movie or any content, if there are two rivals, brother of, there are two, hero and villain. So hero will have a sister. How will villain take revenge? Rape the sister. That's all. So how stupid. Yeah. Why are you troubling her? I don't understand. This is again, I always question about, because you have brought in this, I question how do you, Sheila, we talk about Sheila. Sheila, what is Sheila? That is, it's not virginity. I don't want to talk about virginity. Sheila antivi, and Sheila ketoitu antivalva. What do you tell that in Hindi? Sheila.
Izzat.
Izzat, okay, Izzat. If you are married and if your izzat is gone, then you will become pativrata. If you are not married and your izzat is gone, you are characterless. I don't know what is the, how do you, measure that izzat?
Allah, that is what I was talking
So
about.
again, about the rape victim, I always feel that we have always sympathized rape victim, but we should always also tell that rape, after it is very, very, sexual harassment is really not acceptable, but we have made her, it's not only sexual harassment which makes her down, it is also how she's been perceived in the society, the mental trauma she goes in. If you just tell that, okay, fuck it, don't worry about it, just live it and move on. That has happened to you, but you are an individual. That is something physically you have gone through. It's an act, just leave it, go talk. I mean, you can go punish him or whatever, but that should not stop you leading your life. Nobody will tell that. They will always say, you, Papa, this is what has happened. We don't want your sympathy. We want you to respect us as we are. That is what I feel as a woman.
Absolutely.
So this was what I was mentioning was the censorship of these kind of content.
Censorship.
So this is, I think, is something which we haven't figured it out yet, because we have content from all across the globe, like right from Korean movies to Japanese movies to French movies. Again, we have like so many languages, so many language cinema, then web series, then OTT content. We have those daily episodes. I think we need something where we can kind of curate what is necessary, like your PG-13 or parental
No, the
guidance.
problem is like if the picture will say it is for children above 16 year, but a 13 year can access it. Correct. That is the problem. So the 13 years should be taught that, see, when you are 16 you can watch it. If you watch it now you will not understand, you will be curious. You just have to wait, make them have patience. That is the responsibility, because it is so open. Like, I'll come back to my son. I have given him all the access to all the internet. So very occasionally I check his history, because I just want to know what all he'll watch. But he doesn't know that. And he's not computer savvy that he'll delete all from the history, because he trusts me. I'm like, cool, ma. If you want to marry a guy, don't worry. You just go on. I don't have a problem. So I've told him all this. So he's like, my mom is cool. So he'll not delete his history. So I can watch what he is watching. So when I watch all web series, all 18 above content, he's just 16. So we just sit together and watch. He'll only go inside when there is some scene which is, he's like, it's okay, you watch, man, don't worry. And it's like, no, ma, I'm not 18 yet. He'll go away. So we just have to bring that awareness to our children. They will be curious, and we cannot stop them, watching all these things. We just have to tell them that there's a time to watch all this. I have watched every movie. I will tell that. I have seen blue films. I mean, I should accept. Every one of you would have. I mean, it's nothing wrong in it, but there is an age for it. And you will realize what you will know why it has been watched, or you know how to. I always tell my son, see, all these are emotions even an animal will have. Yeah. But we are humans, so we should know how to control ourselves. Yeah. So this is how, we have to censor it within ourselves. We cannot censor the movie, because it is like they know hacking, they know everything, so that is the issue.
Apart from good parenting, I think we can also use AI. I think here it actually plays a key role. Like, for example, if nudity is detected, we can actually get it into categories,
Yes.
like under 13 or under 16.
No, but still, they will put, it will ask for age, no? They will put 1980
That is
born.
That's a question for the ages on. That's a question for the ages, no? On how you can use technology, because it's a double-edged sword. Censorship is a double-edged sword. So, on that note, I'm going to have to call this panel discussion to an end. It's been animated.
Thank you so
it's
much
been
for
wonderful.
having us. 315 Work Venue, WOMENIA 2023. 3 years ago, I was a part of this too, and congratulations on all the success. See, the venture that you people are into is a wonderful thing. And the team is again a woman-led team. That's a beautiful thing. Of course, when it is workspaces, you get to meet a lot of other people and you get to learn a lot of things from others as well. So it's a beautiful initiative. All the very best to the entire team. Thank you, Vidya, for having me here. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much.
This was absolutely a riot. Thank
Ditto,
you.
ditto, as Sujata said.
Thank you to all our panelists and also our moderator. So we come to the end of our panel discussions. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Manas Malhotra, Chairman and Founder, 315 Work Avenue, and Mrs. Prachi Malhotra, Founder, 315 Work Avenue, to kindly come forward and present the mementos to our panelists as a token of gratitude and honor. First, I would like to invite on stage our moderator, Archana Tiwari. She's done a great job. Next, we have our panelists, that is Pallavi Somaya,
center. Okay, I shall. Okay, thank you so much, everybody, for coming first thing. And it's been an absolute delightful evening to hear you all speak, share your thoughts. And, you know, honestly speaking, so many times I was like literally itching there in my seat, you know, wanting to like add a couple of things and say a couple of things. And I absolutely enjoyed listening to each one of you. So thank you so much. Thank you, our guests. Thank you, wonderful audience, for being here. And like it's an amazing event that has come through because of the energy that has been in the air today, and I am so glad to be a part of it. And I think to wrap up on this I embrace equity bit, I would like to add, as most of you, you know, closed it towards in the beginning, that it starts at home. As moms, I'm a mother to 3 little ones as well, 1 boy, 2 girls. So as moms, again, we have a great responsibility, like most of you said, that how is it that we impart that to our children going forward? Like if my son wants to play chef in the kitchen, it's cool. If my daughter wants to play with cars, it's cool. Gone are the days when I would say my son can't wear pink, you know, or you can't wear, a girl can't just say her favorite color is blue. So I think all those gender stereotypes is what we break at home first, because we are their first teacher. So as moms, as long as we open up our windows, again, and that like technology plays a great part in that. Like, you know, like you said, ma'am, you said that, you know, you've told your son that I'm so cool, you go marry, you know, even a boy, that's cool. That's what I'm saying, that's what technology has done. Because maybe a decade ago, we couldn't have thought, you know, normalizing this conversation in the parents' fair, you know, or being like it would be a taboo. But now we have content, you know, showing that it is okay. You know, I mean, these boundaries can be broken. So that's where technology and innovation, I think, is playing a great role. Again, it's a double-edged sword. I think it's all about balance. I embrace equity, like men embrace us and we embrace them. Because it's both ways. We can't do without them. They can't do without us. It's like an ecosystem, right? I mean, we can't be like, okay, it's just us and we don't need men in the world anymore. No, I think fathers are great nurturers as well. I mean, there was a part, I think today fathers have realized that as long as we are also, you know, the hunters on the outside or the bread earners of the family, the mothers are chipping in as the bread earners and the fathers are coming up as nurturers at home. So I think it's both ways. And I would like to give an analogy here, is that it also happens like, you know, so we went on a safari once and we saw this entire pride of lions. They say, who's the king of the jungle? We all know, the lion. But the lion doesn't hunt. It's the lioness who is always hunting. It's lioness's job to hunt. But while she's hunting, who's taking care of her children? The lion. When she comes back from the hunt with the prey, she's going to give the meal, the prey, to be laid out. She's going to step back for a side, even though she might be hungry, but she's like, dude, my kids eat first, then the lion eat, and then I'll eat. Why? Because the lion eats before me, so that when I'm eating, he can take care of the kids. So the lion, again, has always been a nurturer, not just the king of the jungle, even though he's not do the hunting. So I think in our entire ecosystem, we have a lot of lessons where if you pick and choose, you can see it's all about balance. And I think that's what equity is about. And I hope that today, as we all step out of here, we take that with each one of us, do our little bit at our homes, because a little bit goes a long way. So yeah, thank you so much, everybody. That was me, Prachi Mehrotra, signing off. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Prachi. That was amazing. So I think she did my part giving away the vote of thanks. So that's all, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to all our panelists and our moderators. Enjoy the rest of the evening. And the dinner is served right here. Please enjoy yourselves. Thank you.